All right, and wasn't there a couple kitties that I said we would start with tonight for stories that I ran out of time? You know what, Zelda? We have to move you backwards a little bit. Can I move you back just a little so I have a little space right here?
Jackie, this is all Zelda.
Oh, wow, good for you. Was that from petting or brushing? Wow, good for you. Putter, thank you. My putter. Some of these it'll take me a few minutes to find some. You know, he's still on the front of my putter is still on the front of my desktop. Yeah. Oh, Paimon is
He was in your office.
my office in the office. He's so sweet. You just look at Paimon and he broom broom. Oh yeah, we were talking about yeah, thank you. So there's Paimon. Hey Paimon boy. I love his eye color, matches his fur. So I took Patty Purr came back there and we left him in and Beaumont came out and about, smelled and sniffed, and just it made a huge difference in Beaumont just having a buddy back there. So it was kind of nice to see that he was responding, and he's a lot better today. And he just kind of just is soft with you. He melts.
Magic. Ow.
Magic.
Ow.
All right, so this is my putter for those of you who have never seen him.
There's a special light one. Extra sparkly.
Yeah, because of Putter. Oh, what a great song. One of the most special, loving cats ever. He arrived here in June 2010 and was found on a golf course, hence his name. To put it mildly, he was one gigantic matted mess. Plus, he appeared to be an older cat. In the process of shaving him to remove his entire matted coat, I remember so well, I set the clippers down 3 different times to stop and wondered if he would survive. And 3 times I picked up those clippers and started again. When done, he was a very skinny cat. I remember when I was clipping him still, I remember feeling so defeated almost, because it was like, how can this kitty possibly live? He was such a mess and so skinny. He was just awful. But we kept on going. But when he awoke, those beautiful blue eyes of his looked right at us as if he was saying thank you. He found his way into each of our hearts. For 3 years he lived in the rescue center. We can all picture him sitting there in the middle of the floor with his magnificent coat of fur that grew back in. He was a handsome Himalayan. He'd sit there just waiting for a whippersnapper kitty to walk in front of him so he could whack him or her. That was his job. He kept those youngsters in line. Every once in a while, he'd get a burst of energy and gallop through the rescue center. We would all cheer for him. He was a cat, as they all are, that mattered. He mattered very much to us. He signified what can happen when much love is given. A chance to live, a chance to be loved, and to give love. The last year of his life, he discovered the door that opened into my house, a real home, and in he went. He was now Putter Moss, and he was ever so happy. But after a while, Putter slowed down. It was clear that he was nearing the end. This was an extra hard one to take, because he was our Putter. He was just so extra special. Many of you never physically met him, but still loved him. Remember this, every time you hug a cat, remember that Putter was the best, huggiest cat ever. He knew how to wrap those paws around the neck and give love right back to us. Yeah, I was thinking, well, I think of him almost every day because right outside my bedroom door, I have a bookshelf and I have that stuffed cat that was made after Putter. It looks like Putter. And then Bagel Bear made me, our clothing friend, made me a small banner quilt that was of Putter, and it's hanging in my dining room.
How do you spell Nemu?
Nemu, Neemu.
Okay.
So yeah, he was a great cat. And remember when we had our very first cat stock, Mike was here, and he sang that song about Putter. Yeah, Sheriff Putter. That was our boy. All right, I'll read Twinkle one more time. Love this kitty too. Twinkle. Oh, what a great, beautiful girl she was. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, DeWitty, I remember that. Twinkle. When Twinkle first arrived on July 25th, 2011 at FFRC, she was dehydrated, covered with hundreds of fleas, and unbelievably skinny. It was said that she was so starved she had taken to eating litter just to sustain herself. Her beautiful green eyes showed the pain of her 14 years, but little else. Her vision was severely limited. She was given fluids, fleas were removed, and all the good healthy food that she could eat. Little by little, she started putting on weight and soon felt confident enough to explore the rescue center. She soon became a favorite of the webcammers around the world. We watched each tentative step. We held our breath on weigh-in day. We cried happy tears when she would play with a toy or snuggle with her sock monkey. And remember, I still have her sock monkey on my desk. Twinkle would often sit on a chair and wave her paw in the air at us to let us know she was hungry. Truly, whatever Twinkle wanted, Twinkle got. It was pure joy to feed her, to love her, and to watch her enjoy her life again. Twinkle lived out the few remaining months of her life surrounded by love and the promise that she would never be hungry again. We were honored to have her here and feel there's a special star in heaven with her name on it. She was just one extra special girl, wasn't she? Yeah, her scrambled eggs. Oh, she was a gem. We just catered to her. Just like Magenta, so many of them. Do y'all remember Juby? I'm not sure if Wicked Wings is on.
It's Elsie spelled E-L-S-I-E.
Uh-huh. I'll read Juby's story. Many of you know Wicked Wings. Wicked came here. And I'll read Bravo's next. And adopted Juby. Juby, I will never, ever, ever forget how we got Juby. That is Juby when he was healthy. This was a very special, rewarding rescue. We had gotten a phone call from a person who was very upset about the condition of a kitten in a cage. She said this kitten has lived for a couple months in a very small, dirty pen that was placed alongside the house in the weeds. And when I say weeds, I'm talking weeds that was over taller than I was, tucked into all these weeds. You could hardly see it at first. Jimmy and I decided to go over and check it out. Upon finding this kitten, indeed, as the lady said, in a small cage tucked back in the weeds, we approached the owner of the house. After some talking, he agreed to relinquish this kitten. To put it simply, this kitten was living in a small pen in horrible filth. The only food that was in there was soggy bread. There was no water, and a collar was on him that was way too tight. There was I will never forget this part. There was a small spot, it was only like 8 by 8 inches, that this kitten managed to keep clean in his pen to sleep on. Completely broke our hearts. We named him Juby for jubilation. Juby was 7 months old, but he weighed only 4.7 pounds. He received a double bubble bath just to get clean and to smell better and to get rid of the fleas. Juby's personality started to shine. You would think that a cat that was forced to live like he did would be withdrawn, scared, and afraid, but not Juby. He was ready to have some fun. He loved the toys, he loved to run, he loved to be petted. He just soaked everything up. It was pure joy to see him experiencing a life that was fun for a cat. Then we received a message from Dania, who is Wicked Wings. She would like to adopt Juby. I knew that she would give him a wonderful home. Dania sends us pictures, and it's plain to see that he is living the good life. Thanks, Wicked. That is not how he looked like when he first came to us. Yeah, I looked at his pictures of his cage the other day. I ran across them. I think they were on my phone. He was. Dania loves him, and he loves Dania. And who did we say? Bravo? Was that who it was, Madison? Oh. You know, some of these are really hard for me, but I would never, ever change not taking them. I would never. I'm glad we took them, even though some of these broke our hearts.
Everyone taught you something, right?
Everyone taught us something, and there's never a death here that I don't sit down and scrutinize. What, why, when, where, what can we do? What could we have done different? All of that. That is just something we do on every single one of them. And we do learn. We do learn. And I never, ever am regretful for taking them. Okay, Bravo. This special story is a hard one for many of us. His name was Bravo because he was oh so brave. He was born May 2012 to an outside cat. The person that found him and his mama fed them, but realized something was very wrong with his back legs. He wanted to bring this little kitten to FFRC. We said yes, we would take him, but the mommy had to be spayed. So 3 days later, Mama was spayed and was living happily inside with this man. And then he brought Bravo to us on June 19th. One look at his legs and it was obvious this kitten had two very deformed rear legs. Boy, it sure sounds familiar, doesn't it? They were solid, meaning very stiff and unmovable. As a result, the legs stayed in a straight out position. The skin between the hip and the knee was very, very shortened and tight, which caused him great discomfort. But as is the way with cats, he still zoomed about. Okay, put that where you know where it'll be. He still zoomed about. The problem was that as he grew, this would become even more tight. He was such a wee baby when he arrived. We had 2 vets agree that surgery was needed to remove those 2 legs, and they would like to do it when he was a bit over 2 pounds. No problem. We've done lots of 2-pound surgery cats. It was agreed the sooner the surgery could be done, the better he would feel and be able to get around because of the tightness of his skin in those areas. Also, there was a worry that he would develop sores and possible infections. In the meantime of waiting for him to grow, Bravo played. He loved everyone, and he purred so very loud. He had a way about himself that made us all just pick him up, cuddle him, and carry him around. Our webcam viewers also fell in love with him. Even from long distance, they knew he had a heart of pure gold and bravery. So Bravo then had his surgery. During the surgery and being able to see things better, it was realized he had far more birth defects inside than imagined. Hey, I need a hug. I'll see you later. See you later. Don't forget Sunday.
I will. We'll get out of church about 11:30.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Love you both,
Bye.
girls.
Love you.
So Bravo
Bye.
then had his surgery. During the surgery and being able to see things better, it was realized he had far more birth defects inside than imagined. But the surgery was completed and thought to be successful. On his second day after surgery, our troubles began. Things started shutting down for Bravo, and he passed away on that evening. This was a loss that reeled all of us. We weren't prepared to lose this brave little boy. His life was short, but he touched so many lives. He showed us all that it doesn't matter how long you have, it is what you do with each day that matters. And for his short life, he knew love and he knew no limitations. He was happy and was allowed to be a kitten. When he passed with love surrounding him, not only close by, but from thousands of miles away. Bravo, he taught us much about love, and given the choice, we would still take him in. That one was a hard one to lose. I do too. That was a tough one. The thing with, there's a difference between Bravo would have been like what Trucker and Magic is, but with those two boys, we were able, physically healthy wise, let those two boys get bigger before they had their big surgeries. But with Bravo, we didn't have that luxury. His skin was so tight that was in fear of tearing there. It was really, really very strange there. So, I know. I didn't think I was going to be able to work again after that one. That was a tough one. But he sure taught us a lot, didn't he? Well, how about if we do Sevaun? We need a picker-upper. Okay. Sevaun. There's our Sevaun. Sevaun. This cat is a Covey. She came to us in 2004. She's been here 11 years. She was a 1-year-old, which makes her, at this time, 10 years old. Sevaun was declared not needed and was put out. A neighbor picked her up and took her to Dr. Pease and at Brian's vet office. Sevaun declares herself boss of the Coveys. She barely recognizes that Anani is really the mare. When Sevaun arrived, she was a skinny mini cat. She was apparently so worried about the lack of food when she was outside that she is stocked up now. Her skinny mini has turned into a 17-pound cat. But as she says, she's not chunky, she's big-boned. And I, for one, believe her. Her very favorite toy in the world is playing with the tracker round toy, and she still does today. She lays there and bats that ball around and around and around. I do believe she calls that her exercise. Her other favorite thing to do is to lay in the sun on the cement sidewalk with her back legs stretched way out in the back. Sevaun loves to be petted, and we're so happy to have her here as the Coveys. Her birthday is January 15th, 2003, and she arrived here January 10th, 2004. She's the one that Greg ruffles up every time he comes. Yeah, she wasn't needed there, they said, but she was needed here. Yep, for sure. Real girls have curves. I like that. With her headband and the wristbands, yeah, like she's pretending she's really exercising. I think she really was doing this, feeding her mouth. How about Zavatar? Zavatar's, what I say, he's our boss, Porchy boy.
Yeah, he's the boss. He's in right now.
I saw that. Once in a while he sneaks in. Ming's, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have Ming. There's Zavatar there with Jenner and Radar. But here's a better, or closer, bigger picture. Zavatar, another Porchy. Zavatar looks upon himself as one of the bosses of the Porchy gang. He has a big soft heart, but he likes to pretend he's the toughie of the group. He just appeared here on the farmyard one day. He acted like he'd known us forever and instantly claimed this as his home. He was just 9 months old when he arrived 2 years ago, but this was like 2 years ago. Zavatar is the keeper of the farmyard too. I do believe he knows every peacock, chicken, duck, and goose out there. He struts around like he owns the farm. He truly believes it. He knows every barn and shed too, and when the feeding schedule is, and what the feeding schedule is for all things out there. He'll go from one place to the next to the place on the warm days. What a boy. Zavatar also likes to tease the cats in the kitty cabana room. He will go to the windows on the outside, sit and stare at the cats. It's like he's teasing them. Zavatar is Zavvy, the greeter in the parking lot too. He has to also maintain watch over all the people that come and go. He's just a good organizer for us. And he still does. He's still out there. He's still the Porchy, and he's definitely the big boy of the bunch. He's a great kitty. He's just a happy-go-lucky boy. Let me see if I can find Mingers. Ming, here he is. Here's Ming. Oh my gosh, he's so handsome. Oh, Ming, you were just the best little boy. Oh, behind my Z's, I might have some of them in here. Ming's birthday is September 5th, 2012. He arrived here July 1, 2013. He sure is handsome. Remember when he first came in? Yeah, that's Azar. Ming, a flame point Siamese who is absolutely wonderful. Ming was found on a porch all by himself. It was obvious that he had many problems. Oh my gosh, I remember so well when he first came in. When we first took Ming in, his rear legs were very splayed. He was also very knock-kneed, pitifully thin, and very thin-furred. What worried us the most was that he appeared to be blind and with possible neuro problems. He would go into a corner and could not find his way out. Even though he was so thin, his bowels were packed to the max. What a mess he was. Our vet checked him over and was concerned about him. X-rays and lab work looked good. Somewhere, somehow, things started working for him. Over time, his bowels started functioning again, and he stopped getting lost in the corners, and he ended up walking straight. He will always have his knock-kneed walk. His vision is still poor, but he gets where he wants when he wants. A blind or partial blind cat is not really a problem. He is definitely filled out and so loves his morning special breakfast every day. His fur is so handsome and he knows it. He is very special too because he's a cat with horned toenails. I know he's such a beautiful cat and his family loves him and they take wonderful care of him. Have you noticed his horned toenails? Kira has those. Kira, and there was one other cat besides Ming that had them. It's like a very callous extra toenail under their other toenail, but it's very soft. It's very soft. And we just take the clippers and clip them off. I remember the first time that Dr. Dr. Darcy saw me, and that was soon after he came in, and he was such a mess then. And I said, Dr. Darcy, he gets stuck in the corners. He goes in the corners, and it's like he can't find his way out. And she said, ooh, that sounds kind of worrisome. And she said, you sure you're reading that right? And so I brought him and took him back in there to surgery. There he goes in the corner, and he goes over and bonks his head, goes over the other way and bonks his head. And it's like he just could not find his way out of that. So, but he fixed that. I'm sure his knock knees doesn't look nearly so bad now that he's got more fur on him. And his eyes, there's the cutest eyes. Yeah, he's an awesome kitty, and he's got a wonderful home. And he's adopted. Another one of those that I worried about, but he did awesome because of his family. Yeah, thank you for giving him that home. Oh, excuse me. Where is what I want? Oh, here. Oh, well, the only Z story I have here, yeah, he's who the Ming strings are named after. The only Z story I have here is one, unfortunately, I don't have anymore. This is Zyrtle. Zyrtle became very sick very fast. Oh, Thomas. Oh. Let me read you Zyrtle. Zyrtle Myrtle. What a beautiful bald girl. She had an owner, but she was moving and couldn't afford any vet care on Zyrtle, who desperately needed medical care. She had an infected uterus called a pyometria. She required immediate surgery. We kept her on antibiotics for 2 days, then she went to our vet's office for her space surgery. It took her a couple days to recuperate. On the 3rd day, she let me know that she didn't feel like she fit in. So I let her in the house just to visit. Well, she quickly found the other Z's, which is short for Sphinx cats, and burrowed under the blankies alongside them for comfort and warmth. I told her it was just for a few days while she built up her confidence. She speaks volumes with those magnificent green eyes. Needless to say, she is still in the house and has found herself a home forever. Yeah, she was a really cool cat. Didn't get to have her very long. She had a lot of medical issues. And I have my other 4 Z's. I have Zany, Zap, Zeke, and Zest. And who did we? Oh, Thomas. I think I read Thomas, didn't I already? Well, no, I didn't read Thomas. We'll read Thomas. Don't knock my book over, Kara. You okay, Magic? Thomas. Which Z likes to jump on my back? It's Zest does the most. Yeah. Thomas. This boy has an extra special place in our hearts. He's gone through so much in his lifetime. He looks like an older soul, but he is only 5 years old. We flew to New York and did a rescue on him and Joey and also Kitty Cat, who passed away. Thomas had been taken when he was a baby to a rescue in Staten Island. He was there for a few years. He actually was classified as a CH cat, and he had seizures, but he wasn't a CH cat. And he had seizures from the beginning. Unfortunately, these seizures were not properly treated, and many times his seizures were very hard and very long. The person that was to be caring for him ended up just leaving the country. She had someone lined up to care for the cats for a few weeks until she was to be back, but that never happened. She never came back. No instructions, no nothing left to care for the cats. Jennifer and 2 other ladies stepped up and started finding homes for these cats. We had talked to them, and it was decided FFRC would take Joey, Thomas, and Kitty Cat, 3 of their cats that needed extra care. The day before we were to get Thomas, oh, I'll never forget that. He had a full-blown seizure that lasted for hours. Thomas came with instructions that he should have 2 different types of seizure meds twice a day. He was not stable in regards to his seizures. The reason is that the good rescue people who helped him were not aware of exactly what meds he should be on until they clarified it with the vet. So he arrived here in pretty shaky condition. The first few weeks were tough as things were adjusting. Seizures happened, little episodes happened, but gradually things worked out for Thomas. It is my opinion that Thomas is not a cat with CH at all. I feel he has had so many terrible seizures that it has affected his poor brain. We've talked about this with our vets, and we have noticed that Thomas is prone to bladder infections, and when this starts, he has a little seizure then too. So we keep track of that also for Thomas. All in all, he has had very few seizures the last 5 months. We are quite smitten with this boy. He loves people. He loves to be held like a baby. He gets lots of exercise because he goes back and forth many times from the main area to the thumper's room. Sometimes it must be 20 times a day, although I think sometimes it was 40 times a day. But we don't mind. We rather enjoy watching him have fun. We love this boy. A special thanks to Jennifer from New York for helping all of the cats that were abandoned. And as you know, he has since passed away. He was a great boy.
I miss him.
I miss him. I miss a lot of them, but we keep getting different ones in, don't we? Yep, Uncle Thomas. Yeah, he was midwife to Small Lisha. Remember that?
What's that?
He was midwife to Small Lisha. Remember the octagon little house that he always liked to sleep in?
Yes.
Small Lisha had her babies
that's
in
right,
there
That's right,
with-
Connie.
with Thomas in there.
Yes.
Connie thought somebody brought little
Yes.
moles in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Hey, Pilvi, I wanted to tell you, my mom got her flowers. She loves them. I wanted to tell you that. Thank you. Yeah, it was Small Lisha. Yeah, that was funny. That was very funny. She was not supposed to have them yet. Oh, gosh.
That's another one Connie will never live in.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. We'll do one more, okay? Let's pick one up here. Oh, Arija Hank. Mom is doing better. Thank you for asking, Stinky. She's doing better. You know, last week I was really worried because she was not herself. That fall really knocked the stuffings out of her, and I was so worried about her because she wasn't with it like she usually is, and pretty fuzzy. headed and just uh, not very stable walking. But starting on Monday, I could see every day, this past Monday, every day I could see that she was getting better and better. Oh, and Stinky, those bruises you guys saw the other night, those are nothing like what they look like. I mean, she was black purple at first, and then blue, and then green, and then yellow. And today they're almost all gone. Yeah, she bruised terribly bad. But I'm just so happy because every day I can see she's a little bit better. Yeah. So this one is on Hank. Many of you remember Hank. He was an awesome, awesome cat. Or we called him Hankster Boy. Where's Hankster Boy? He was brought here by a friend of ours and an employee of Dr. P's, Chris, who is who I go to the cat shows with. He was only 2 years old when he arrived, and he immediately took over the barnyard as his. He was the escort for doing farm chores. One time he decided he'd like to chase, oh, I will never forget this. One time he decided he'd like to chase a baby peacock. The mama gave him a quick lesson in what is not acceptable in the peacock world. I'm going to interrupt the story a minute. Right in front of me, he decided to go after this peacock baby, and mama, of course, was there. She went over to him and with her claws picked him up like this, up off the ground about 4 or 5 inches, and promptly dropped him, probably because of his weight. And I don't think he ever did that again. Oh, I was astounded that the peacock did it, but then it was kind of funny. He used to also sit on the rump of the llama just for fun to watch the world go by. Hank had a problem with his right eye that we eventually had to have removed. Wow, he felt so much better after that surgery. The other cats had great respect for Hank. He carried himself with pride and had that air of being the boss. He so loved to walk around with people who were touring the farmyard. From barn to everywhere, there was Frank participating in the tours. He passed away just a month ago from when we did this. He chose his own place to pass away. One of his favorite spots was watching the river along the bank, and he was just the best. See, you can tell he was strutting in that. Yeah, he would ride on shoulders. In the wintertime, he's one of 2 cats that used to sit on my shoulders and would dip the butt in the sweatshirt hood. He was just an awesome cat. Okay, well, I got to go take care of my mom and make sure she finished her supper. And wanted to tell you we're having some trouble with her face on. She hit her face on the floor. She went straight down. Yeah. Wanted to tell you we're having trouble with one of my doggies, Candy, the black one. Just want to tell you that it's been noticeable in the last week that she's not up to snuff like what she used to, doing very weird things, things that she has never done before in her whole life. And the last few months has been harder. Her limbs, her legs are sore. I've been having to give her more and more Rimadyl or Novox to help her feel better. And she sleeps a lot, but she's been doing some really odd things. And then this morning, as soon as I came out early because I heard her whining, and so I thought she had to go potty, so I took her out, and she went potty. And then I noticed she didn't eat any of her breakfast, and that's very odd, but I think I can count 2 times that she didn't eat her breakfast. So then she was brought in, and she was whining, and Lisa noticed that she was acting off. So I got her and I brought her in the office to be in there with me, and I shut this door so she would stay with me, and she finally laid down there beside me, and all of a sudden she jumped up and she started biting the door, which was shut. Any angle she could get on the door with her teeth, she was gnawing and just acting weird. And then I said, Cammy, and she stopped that and came over to my desk and started chewing on my desk chair. Just, it was weird. And then she got a hold of my jeans. So I ran out here and came and got a leash and walked her to her pen, gave her a little, just a light sedative. I wanted her just to sleep. And she did for a few hours. And then she did have another little episode outside this afternoon where she kept falling over. Yeah, Cammy's my doggie. And she might have had a stroke, I'm not sure. So Cammy came from that. She's 12 years old. I got her when she was 6. And she's been with me 6 years. She came from a place that Lisa, myself, and 2 other people, I think, we went with the dog warden and took 13 dogs away from someone. I think it was February 1st, if I remember right. There was snow on the ground. Well, it was 6 years ago. Snow on the ground. She had 2 puppies. She was so thin at that time. I could take my fingers like this and go down, straight down her vertebrae. She was nothing. And I remember she was the first dog that we took off the chains. And I left my truck running because I knew some of the dogs were in bad shape. And I remember putting her in the back of my S10 inside. I kept the truck warming to keep it warm up for her. And I just cried and cried and cried. I couldn't believe a dog could be so thin, and so the people didn't care. And her doggies, though, her puppies, were chubby, but they were the only things that weren't chained up there. They were chained up under semis and to trucks and whatever they had out there, and so they could go under the vehicles for shelter. But the puppies weren't, so they could go running around and scarfing up whatever food they could find.
So the sheriff or police call you to say come take these dogs?
Somebody spotted them, and it was reported, and then we checked it out, and it was deplorable. It was horrid. And so we had to wait until everything got okayed, and then we went out. They knew we were coming, and they were told we would take 13 dogs.
They didn't give you trouble.
No, they couldn't, because the sheriff was there too. Yeah.